Thanks for joining us on our digital platforms. I'm WCIA3 meteorologist Jacob Dickey. We are talking about some strong to severe storms already here at midday. A little bit ahead of schedule, but still we're keeping an eye on them here. One warning and a couple of counties under a watch here. This is mainly focused north of Interstate 74, and that's where the greatest threat for severe weather exists as we go through the day today. Storm tracker Doppler for a lot of us is quiet out there. Talking Champaign, Decatur, Springfield, Effingham, Mattoon, Charleston. Not much happening. One little cell just on the west side of Effingham now, be over Lake Sarah, just hanging out there, but that's it. And then we get our activity up here in areas from Pontiac and points to the north and west. Let's go ahead and use Storm Tracker Doppler and zoom in and talk about what we're seeing. First off, this is a severe thunderstorm warning for Livingston, Lasalle, and Livingston, Lasalle, parts of Grundy County. Basically, I-55 to the west in the county does have a severe thunderstorm warning. See that red outline around it? What that does is that tells me that not only do we have a severe thunderstorm warning, but we also have what we call a tornado possible tag. That means is in the storm, and watching a little bit of rotation. It's not strong enough to produce a tornado, but it is still something worth noting and keeping a close eye on here. You'll see that word, the threat tornado possible. Think of it as the step below a tornado warning. Watch it closely and keep an eye on it, but still the main threat with this is going to be the winds, I think. Some small hail also can't be ruled out. This particular warning goes until 1:15. It was issued at about a little after noon or so, close to 12:15 I think it was. And so if you were in those areas and you have the WCIA3 weather app, you got notified for that. You could program your specific location for those areas. Let's real quick talk about who's in, who's out. Then we'll talk about what the rest of the day brings here. First off, this storm here near Streeter is moving off to the east and southeast. It'll be heading towards Pontiac, Dwight, Odell, Flanagan, Cornell, and moving at a fairly decent clip here. Let me just check the latest from the National Weather Service. They are saying that the warning is going to continue, and there we go. Just let me click that information tab right here. The warning is going to continue with 60-mile-per-hour winds and nickel-sized hail. The tornado, not immediately likely, but still possible in these areas, so we're going to watch it. They've got it moving east at 45 miles an hour. You see that storm trailing off to the south and to the west there. As we look at this storm, I'm going to flip over to our velocity real fast. And I think you'll be able to see some of those winds in there. See these bright greens? Green winds going towards, looks like a strong bit of wind here and there. There's probably at least some 40 to 55 mile an hour gusts in there. The strongest wind gusts may be on the LaSalle County line and along I-80 there. That's where they're watching the little area of rotation. This is it right here. See these bright greens over town and then these darker greens? That's a weak circulation that's moving off to the east towards, that'll be moving towards Marseilles and Seneca and eventually Morris. I think that's going to stay out of our area, but that's what's prompted that tornado possible tag. Though here, maybe a little bitty one in the Streeter area trying to develop. It's not much to look at. We've seen far stronger circulations, but it still is one where we'll keep a close eye on it here. Not only that, these storms are prolific lightning producers as they move off to these. There's a lot of lightning. That's in the last couple of minutes here, and you'll see that lightning continuing off to the east with storms. There's a lot of instability today that will be causing issues with these particular storms and allowing them to really feed and become severe as they roll on through. Let's check real quick. I do have an update on the severe thunderstorm watch as well. We've now added Ford, Iroquois, and Benton counties, and this watch goes until 4 p.m. today. This is the early watch. I don't think we're going to deal with any severe weather further south until later. We'll have our chance for areas towards I-72 and points to the south. But this early round seems to be staying north of US 136, Livingston, Ford, Iroquois counties, primarily where that watch was extended to cover that scenario. Let's go ahead and talk about what the rest of the day brings here and what we're expecting with things. So I'm going to switch my graphics over real quick, and you'll see here, first off, can we first take a moment and talk about the temperatures and the humidity outside? As that loads here, temperatures are in the 80s, well into the 80s out there. Champaign at lunchtime was at 87, and here we go, still at 87 now, 88 in Lincoln. Bloomington is sitting at 86, and these dew point values, upper 70s in many spots out there, 77 in Champaign, 78 in Decatur. We wish these were temperatures, not dew points. This is just oppressive air here in central Illinois. The heat, it feels like summer. If you're familiar with summer temperatures, you're familiar with summer weather, you're feeling it today. Some of those dew point values are approaching even the 80s in a few spots out there. Let's talk about the heat index value real quick. Feels like 101 in Lincoln. There we go. 100 in Paris, 99 in Champaign here. We will be dealing with that for a while longer. Now to the severe threat. Latest from the Storm Prediction Center keeps our enhanced risk here, and that enhanced risk is going to be for areas from Danville to Champaign to Bloomington Normal and points to the north. That is where I think the greatest threat for severe weather will be. Bloomington, Pontiac, Watseka, Danville, Rantoul, Gibson City, Paxton, and surrounding areas. Right on the line, the I-72 corridor east towards Danville. So Champaign, we're right on that line there. I don't think it makes much difference whether we say, oh, we're in the yellow or the orange. Decatur, Springfield, a little further to the south. We can look at the map and we could look at all the pretty colors, but what I think the best thing to do is talk about impacts. What will these storms bring with them as they push on through? Areas that have the better chance to see storms, of course, in orange and yellow, but area-wide, the impacts is what we need to watch. The high winds will be the greatest threat from these storms today, and we may have some wind gusts of 60 to 75 miles per hour with these storms as they go on through. There is just an absorbent amount of fuel in the atmosphere. Instability values are just off the charts here, allowing for some of these explosive thunderstorms to just go up with a bang. That not only will be a wind threat, but it will take advantage of all that soupy moisture. Heavy rain is likely, and then you get big-time instability as storms roll on through. They will be loud this evening into tonight. Kids may not be going to bed early, or if you send them to bed early, they may be waking up. The pets probably won't like it either. We think the severe threat, though, is primarily going to be for winds. Not everyone sees those 60 to 75 mile per hour winds, but we get a couple of pockets of that somewhere, and that may allow for some significant wind damage. We may have some issues with crops being flattened. We very well may have some tree and power line damage as well with wind gusts like that. Not everyone gets it again. I'll stress that, but the chance is there that if you get a severe thunderstorm warning, you'll be in the line of sight for some of the strongest wind gusts here in the region, and so that's what we're going to watch very closely. I'll mention the tornado threat. It's low, not zero. Those storms with just a little bit of rotation to the north, from Pontiac north, kind of showing what we think may happen. Not strong enough to produce a tornado at this point, but we'll watch it here as some of those storms swing to the east then through parts of Livingston forward to Iroquois counties. That's where we'll watch here for the primarily a chance for a possible tornado. But again, 2 out of 10, that's pretty low. And the rest of the area under a 1 out of 10. Never say never. I really think at the end of the day, the wind threat is the greatest and the one that will win the day for impacts. Overall, future track, it has struggled a little bit today. It wasn't picking up on those earlier storms coming on through. It's attempting to now. Timing and placement a little off here. But we get the idea that even though these storms go off to the east, what we see is storms will refire up close to sunset. There'll be some questions on exactly where, maybe a little more south or a little more north, but I think the general idea is 6 to 7 o'clock we start to see storms fire out there, and then they'll move into our area after that, and fairly quickly. Storms should be moving 40 to 55 miles an hour to the east, and as they do so, then that will at least help to keep rain from staying over one location over any particular, large number of hours. We're going to keep moving, meaning you'll get heavy rain, but it should move on to the next town and the next town in a matter of time. But still, there'll be rounds of showers and storms across the region here through about midnight and beyond before we clear things out into the early morning hours tomorrow. So that's something we're going to watch closely. Rainfall totals here. You'll see that inch to 2 inches in some localized areas. There'll be spots that miss out. I will say that. Some spots will get less than that, but we may have some pockets of heavy rain to deal with also as we go through the afternoon and evening hours tonight. So that is what we will be watching very closely here. Will these midday storms affect and maybe lessen the severity of storms later this afternoon tonight? I think potentially. We'll have to watch and see how it evolves here. There's a lot of instability out there. Not much wind shear. We don't really need a lot of wind shear on a day like today, though, for damaging winds. We're more focused on the instability values. So at least that tornado threat stays low. But certainly you get some of those big thunder boomers and big old downburst over your house, and that may cause some issues. And so we're going to watch all of that very closely. Before we switch over to questions and anything like that, I will swing back to the beginning, answer all those questions here. Our main timing, again, from really prime time is probably about 5, 6 o'clock through 10 or so. And we're watching this early round sneak on by, but we'll keep an eye on all of that here. Here's the good news. Let me show you the good news here. Look at this. The humidity is on its way out. We got this almost fall-like cold front coming. Dew point values will almost be cut in half in some cases here. I mean, we're talking up from the upper 70s down to the 40s. It'll be just a nice, cooler, drier day tomorrow. It may still be a little muggy in the morning. I'll admit that. But by the afternoon tomorrow and tomorrow night will be fantastic here in Central Illinois. So that's something to look forward to. We just pay for this, though, with the chance for some of these strong storms coming on through. All right, I'm going to pull the radar back up just to make sure I don't miss anything, and then we will keep an eye on the storms and watch, and then I'm going to answer your questions as well. Kevin will be in tonight. I'm planning to go out in the storm tracker here, and in a matter of time, we'll kind of adjust and see what we're thinking for that. But still, we've got that severe thunderstorm warning for Livingston County that continues until 1:15. Okay, questions on the board. Let's take a look here. Get rid of some of these. Some folks saying they got 1 to 2 inches of rain last night. Yeah, last night. Really nice. Kind of making sure, folks asking about specific counties and specific locations. Nothing's really changed too much. We still think that greatest threat for severe weather is north of I-74, but the chances there area-wide. So you're watching, we don't want to discount you. The further south you live, the later we go. I think as I look here, we'll probably look along the I-72, 74 corridors. Probably be 5 to 9 or so moving through there, and then down by I-70, maybe 11 o'clock before those storms arrive. We'll see how fast they move to the south and the east. And then we've got to watch and see how these storms affect things. They're a little further south, so that may cause some issues here, but what I could see also happening is it just pushes the development tonight maybe a little further south and east. That's all in play here at this point with those storms coming on through. There's so much instability out there. I mean, you can feel the humidity, the mugginess. You can feel that instability in the air. It just feels like a storm day in Central Illinois. So that's what we're going to keep an eye on here into the region. Geez, the spam bots are really all over the place here. There we go. Just got that new severe thunderstorm warning extended while we're here now for Livingston, far northern Ford, and northwestern Iroquois County. And that red box around it tells me that it's a severe thunderstorm warning with a tornado possible tag. And that is going to be something we watch. Let me just pull up the data here and see what they're warning it for. I'm going to guess it's going to be 60 mile per hour winds. Yeah, 60 mile per hour winds and maybe some nickel-sized hail. That's going to be a sliver of the area. If you're familiar with Sonneman here, that's the four-way stop on 47, and I think it's 115 to the east. And, or let me zoom in. It's let me hide that graphic there real quick. And then, yeah, 116. 115 is the north-south, 116 is east-west. So that's that four-way stop there on 47 on your way up to Chicago. If you've ever taken 47, there's a gas station in the corner. It's a good place to stop. It's also going to include the 116 corridor over towards Ashcombe and Clifton. We're going to add in, right in here, Cullum and Kempton. Caberry's in there. And then Kankakee County, including the city of Kankakee, also under that warning here. Piper City sits here. It's north of Piper City. It's the far northern part of the county. US 24 corridor, we're talking north of you from Watseka to Onarga and Gilman towards Chatsworth and Fairbury. This will be Dwight, Ashcombe, Caberry, Stell, Cullum, up towards Sonneman, and places like that that are under this new severe thunderstorm warning. And that you can see now on the bottom of the TV screen as well if you're watching on Channel 3. So that is what we're continuing to watch, and keep an eye on these storms slipping off to the east. And I'll just do one last check just to make sure if there's anything. Let me put my Chicago radar on here. We'll just have to watch and see. There's been some little bit of spins here and there with these circulations, so I just can't rule out at this point, something happening in those areas, but it's mainly the wind threat still, I think, at this point, that we'll continue to watch and keep a close eye on. All right, that is what I have for you. Again, be weather aware. I think the safe thing to do is just be weather aware from now until tonight, midnight or so. Probably for most of central Illinois, we're going to look for 5 to 10. But we've got this early roundup here in areas of northern Ford, Livingston, and Iroquois County. You get down towards I-70, it may be 9 p.m. onward that you get the chance for some showers and storms. And I think the later we go, also, the lower the threat will be for severe weather. So we get past midnight, really be hard to get much more in the way of severe storms here in the region. So that is what I have for you. Just wanted to update you on severe weather threat. I'm going to do a couple graphic updates in the web, and then I'll be out of here for a quick break once these storms clear on through, and we can hand off to Kevin. Kevin will be on his way in here shortly as well, so we'll continue to keep an eye on things. That's my update for you. Have a great rest of your day, and we will keep you updated. Just follow us on the WCIA3 weather app. You can get your location programmed in there. You can get severe weather coverage and more, and we will keep you updated here throughout the evening and into tonight. Stay safe, stay weather aware. Enjoy the summer, you summer lovers, because tomorrow, by the afternoon, you fall lovers. I think you're going to give us some thumbs up and some accolades here with what's coming. There's my update for you here. It's 12:48 p.m. Look for more updates online on the app